Welcome to Doctrine and Devotion, a podcast that explores Christian faith and practice from a Reformed Baptist perspective. My name is Joe Thorne. I am the lead pastor of Redeemer Fellowship in St. Charles, Illinois.
And I'm Jimmy Fowler, executive pastor at Redeemer Fellowship.
Feeling good today.
I feel great
I know
today.
you're feeling good today, but
I'm
feeling
amazing.
I won't be feeling good for long because I know you're going to be a total jerk. But
Amazing.
you know, see, I was all excited. I was all excited to talk about how I got invited to hang out with you and some of your other friends
we
at
can
the
talk
pool.
about that later.
And then, but
we can talk about
but we're
that
not going to get to
later.
it because you're just so hyper focused on the one time you're accidentally right about something.
One time. Yeah. So let me give you all some context.
Nobody's going to care. By the way,
they
you're going to bore
care.
everyone.
No,
go ahead and
bore
everyone,
okay.
just like when you
so
preach.
If you know Joe Thorne, you know he can never be wrong.
Okay, first of all, I admit that I'm wrong all the time.
Yeah. Okay, it takes him a while to get there.
No.
It takes a while to
with
get there.
you.
Okay, all right, fine.
With you, I never admit that I'm wrong.
Fine. Okay,
but
context-wise,
okay.
Context,
In this relationship, that's fair.
Joe is always never wrong. It
and
always has to be
still
me.
holds true.
Always has to be
Give me my lighter.
And so that one's actually mine.
Oh, this one's mine.
Yeah.
Did you buy? Oh, is that Greg's?
Twice. You're wrong.
Well, you didn't
twice.
have one. You didn't even have this. Is that Greg's or yours?
Greg's.
Okay, so it's not yours. I'm still right.
No, you're
I'm
still
right.
wrong. You're wrong. So what we have is we have 3 SD cards that we use, and we move them back and forth as we're recording and putting together content.
And Jimmy does all the sound editing, right? So sometimes I have to drop off a card for him, or he has to drop it off here.
So then Joe's like, hey, I had 2 cards with me. And Joe's like, hey, I need one of the cards because I had to record something for Weekday Wisdom for, some content. And I go, hey, you can come pick it up. That's fine. You can grab the card. But you already have a card there.
Yeah, I remember. I'm like, what?
You already have a card there.
Like, no. I was like, no.
And he goes, nah, you have all of them. I
was just there. There's nothing there.
I said, no, I go, Joe, you're wrong. You're wrong.
And Jimmy is really good. Honestly, Jimmy's organized.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
So I was like, I'm 95% sure because there's always that chance that maybe it's in a different
I think you said 99%. You said, in fact, you said 99%.
Okay, 99%. But because I'm pretty good at keeping things in my bag,
yes,
and everything has a spot.
Right.
Meets in place. It's everything's got a spot.
Right.
And so then I'm dreading this morning because I'm like, we're gonna go there. And Joe, I know him. He's like a dog with a bone, and he's never wrong. And he's going to sit here and bother me and go, you have it somewhere. You lost it. Sure enough.
Because I can't lose it.
Sure enough.
I can't lose it because I don't take it anywhere.
So SD card.
No, that's not what I said.
SD card.
No, I asked you one time.
SD card. And I go.
No. So let's stop because you're lying. I said, hey, man, did you ever find that other SD card? That's literally what I said.
And you go, SD card.
No, it's not what I did.
And I go, hey, it's here. I know it's not with me. It's not. And so we have a little mini argument.
No, we don't. You look immediately to your left.
No. Mini argument in front of David Koch, who's here with us. Okay. David, was there not a mini argument before I found it?
Before he found it?
It was lengthy.
It's
been going on for at least 20 minutes.
You were bantering.
20 minutes is a bit too much.
Bantering?
That's after we found it.
That was after we found it.
The bantering was happening. And I decided, all right, I need to use restroom before we record. I'm going to go.
That was after he found it.
Surely they'll be done by the time that I am done. So, come back? Nope.
First of all, you're a quick peer. So that's
at a very small bladder.
So here we go. I go, Joe, it's here. I know it's here. I don't have it. I'm positive I don't have it, but maybe I'm wrong. And I look to my left, and there it is.
Yeah.
And what did you then proceed to do?
Well, I did a couple of things.
You accused me.
Before I accused you, I registered. I literally picked up the whole sound console, everything. It wasn't there when I was looking for it. So, but then I did see it, and I'm like, what the heck? And then I figured, because this is the kind of thing that Jimmy does.
No.
Yes, it is.
No,
It is.
I don't have time for that.
No, listen. I'm not saying that you did this thing. I'm saying it's the kind of thing that you do, where you'll play it off, you'll put it there. You'd be like, oh, it was always there, and you'd play that joke, and then you would not give in and admit that you played the joke.
Okay, but
in this case, that's not.
No, it's not the case. I don't have time to come in during the week. I don't have time to come in.
That's not the point.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not the point.
You should know that. I hardly have time to go have lunch with you. What do you think? I have time? If I don't have time to go,
yeah, we're supposed to have lunch, and you blew me off.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so you
for
think
no
that
reason.
I have time? You think I have time then to come in and play this big elaborate joke on you?
Okay, first of all, you could have had anybody else drop it off. Your wife could have dropped it off. You could have had your little honor roll student nerd son drop it off. You could have had whatever. Point is, I was wrong.
You were wrong.
It was somehow there.
Somehow it was there.
Sticking cloaked in the Predator's cloaking device or something because I couldn't see it. Like
now,
I said.
That being said, it was black on black because it was on top of this book.
Yeah,
it was on
it's
top
possible
of
that I
Baptist
didn't see it and it was
Confession of
there. It's possible.
So,
Or it's possible you're still lying.
nope,
you
not
liar.
lying. Not lying.
Okay.
So here we are. What are you looking for, David?
Oh, I was just coughing away from the microphone because both of you were smoking, and that's going to desperate. I shouldn't have said that because my mom's going to listen to this podcast and realize that I was in the presence of secondhand smoke.
Oh, well, it's a good thing you can tell your mom that
Yeah.
secondhand smoke is about as real as Santa Claus.
And I guess,
Oh, no.
I guess it's probably a good thing your mom doesn't see the video of you smoking with us.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, he's double fisting cigars right now.
What are we talking about?
You're
No.
smoking 2
You're
giant
Maduro.
cigars.
You know, that's when I was asked to come on the podcast, and I was like, oh, great, it's going to be a good time. You know, what I did not realize is that both of you record shirtless. That was,
it's hot. It is
Yeah.
hot in here.
It is
What do you
hot.
want
It's
us
like
to
80
do?
degrees in Illinois. And I was like, I guess I'll roll with it too. And let's come down and
Yeah,
I'm painting the picture of what the room is looking like.
once we
right
get
now.
video going, then everybody gets to behold the glory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, the reason if you guys don't know who David Koch is, I mean, why would you? He's a nobody.
Yeah. Pretty much.
But he's like the
David.
nobody in the Bob Odenkirk movie.
Oh, yeah. There was a movie he did.
Yeah, super violent, awesome. Anyways,
Yeah, that's David.
Dave. Well, yeah, you look like a young Bob Odenkirk. You could
What?
oh yeah.
What?
Yeah, you could
All
be
right,
a young Bob.
all right.
All right, here's the thing. David, longtime member of Redeemer,
Mhm.
married to Allison, awesome lady. They are in our small group, or in my small group.
Mhm.
And David has preached for us. He's a great communicator. He's a smart guy. And he's big on productivity. Not because it's cool or hip, but because he wants to be
Better.
I would say I'm growing in productivity.
Yeah.
It's been an area of interest that the Lord has been bringing me to
Mhm.
for.
And-
I haven't read all of the literature. My reading list is far longer than.
Right. Well, I'm sure like 50% of it's garbage anyways, right? So if in any genre.
No, this is the. I would say the books that I have,
No,
what
yeah.
I've been working through, all been really good.
I'm just
stuff.
saying, of all the literature that's been produced in that genre,
Yes.
probably 50% of it's garbage,
Oh,
like,
heck yeah.
like in any genre.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Now, so we asked you, we said, all right, David, you just taught a session at Leadership Lab on productivity. And we thought like, hey, man, well, let's bring in David and you can just come up with like 5 of the most important or the more important principles to be more productive. That'll be good for me. It'll be good for a lot of our listeners.
Mhm.
And then guys like Jimmy can just be like, yeah, been there, done that.
Yeah. Exactly.
Sounds good, yeah.
I'd be curious to hear both of you, because both of you guys are very busy, and I know you both manage your time. Well, one of you manages your time well. The other, I have no idea. And I'll just leave it. I'll just leave it at that. I'll let you determine who I was speaking for. But I guess before I can give,
I got it done. I get it done. I got a
You
whiteboard
do.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
There
The
is
I
a
did not even
whiteboard.
look at the whiteboard
See, I
yet.
got
it
a
almost
whiteboard.
looks like you guys planned this.
No,
Like
no. He's been doing better.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm just slow.
He's been on it this year.
I'm slow in development. You know,
Oh,
it takes me a while.
So
good.
before we get into the 5 topics
Yeah.
that I'm going to bring, first thing I guess I could do is list my influences or resources. So if you wanted
Yeah.
to further dive into the show notes or
Yeah, we'll link to all these books.
read the literature. Much of what we're going to be talking about are concepts that are taken from authors like Matt Perman,
Mhm.
the book "What's Best Next,"
Yeah.
as well as "Unstuck," which I may like more. I
Now,
like both.
Matt Perman wrote both of those.
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
You're sure? Matt Perman.
I am
is the one that
100%.
Are you?
See, you messed up,
Yes.
David.
Oh, see,
You
because
messed up.
Man.
you've done this before,
you
where
did this.
you'll
You
attribute
did this to
Oh,
an
yourself.
author to saying something when you're totally wrong, or doing something and you're totally wrong. You've
Yeah.
done
It
this
was-
before.
You
one
did this to
time.
yourself.
I don't know.
One time.
1 out of 1 is 100%.
His logic is sound.
He is mathematically correct
Yeah,
for once.
Okay.
That sound is a
because you
pound.
you sort of dropped in one of your talks that William Carey
Yes,
was a missionary to China.
I was one subcontinent off.
It was awesome. All right. So anyway, so Matt Perman, and I've
Yes.
read What's Best Next, which is a good book.
Yes.
I haven't read the other one.
Unstuck. It came very crucially at a time where I felt very stuck, and yes, both excellent books. Also the website, great stuff. Moving forward, Cal Newport has been a new discovery for me. A guy named Cal Newport. He wrote a book that I read recently, Deep Work, Focused Success
Yeah.
in a Distracted World.
You had me read that. It was
Yes.
actually really good.
Super good. I want to move on to the rest of his catalog here. Digital Minimalism is his next book that I want to read.
Yeah, I don't want to read that.
What? Yeah,
Joe,
it,
that
it'll,
sounds-
I can't wait till we get to that
it's
section.
going to
Yeah.
kick all of us in the pants.
Yeah, no,
whenever
no.
we read,
Wait,
whenever we read that
Yeah,
book.
wait till we get to Joe
Yeah,
on that.
I don't know.
Mhm.
I
By
can't
the
wait
way,
for us to
that
discuss.
that deep work.
Yeah.
So this is a me thing, but I'm just like when I read it and I got done, I felt like if he would put together like a 100-page version of that, or even an 80-page version of it, like I think it'd be more helpful to guys like me because the
ADD,
principles are so good, but it's filled with so many examples and stories that I don't personally find useful. I think most readers do. I wish there was like another version of that you could easily rip through because it's a really good book.
It's
really
a primer.
good principles.
Then you need to read Matt Perman's book because that's what he does in 2 chapters, where he gives like the synopsis in Unstuck of deep work. That's what, it's always just reading the footnotes. Like, all right, Matt Perman gets it from this guy. He's synthesizing Cal Newport here. So just moving on from next subject to next subject. It's not necessarily a productivity book, but here I have my notes for this session here in a bullet journal, and the bullet journal method from Ryder Carroll. It's a weird. It's not bullet journaling is not just productivity, but in terms of working through things and even journaling, I do all of my sermon notes in bullet journal form. And some of his thoughts for synthesizing that. That's another author. Hugh Welchel is another great book. How Then Shall We Work? I believe he's if I can get his.
It's got to be a Christian guy, right?
Yeah. His name's Hugh. But he runs and I'm going to screw up.
I think he was trying to make a joke like that he must be homeschooled. Like his name is Hugh.
Like Hugh Hewitt? Like I can think of lots of Hughes.
Hugh Grant?
Hugh Grant, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, your joke? No.
Nah.
Anyway,
fell flat. This is gonna be edited out, right? It's not gonna, you're not gonna embarrass me here right now.
You can't embarrass David. He's a man. He owns it. He doesn't care. All right, go ahead.
It's gonna fly. It's the Center for Faith and Economics is what sound effects. Oh man,
we're a little late, but we're getting used to it.
Yeah. That's what I've been working through right now, and it's all like, it's just so good. Like those are the main influences that I've been.
Why does productivity matter to you personally? Like, why is it such a big deal?
For me, I think it was a method of really survival. I think, and some of it's COVID related, others just vocationally. March 2020, everything goes remote. Everything. And I transitioned the exact same week to a job that was completely 100% remote. So I don't have, not having that going into the office, like having that accountability of like necessarily a manager. I'm still 100% responsible for the results that I produce, but I don't have that someone over my shoulder all the time. So how I structure my day, my time, my week to accomplish the end goals, that I need to accomplish. Unless I get my stuff together and get it organized and understanding, I'm just going to falter. It's just going to completely go by the wayside. And then I'm not providing for myself, my family. And I don't want that. Like I want to succeed and do well for others. So thinking deeply about this, and as well, like incorporating my faith into work, because working just for a paycheck, any job that I've had, or let me put it this way. It was an incredible discovery for me, realizing that money was a terrible motivator for me. Like for any job. Like I don't think I could do a job just for the money.
But that's how a lot of people work, right?
Yes.
Like they want to be productive because they got to make that money.
Yeah. They think like, oh man, I'd be super motivated if I knew that I could earn X dollars, a year.
Why wasn't that working for you? Why not?
It just wasn't. I don't know. It felt like something was wrong with me, particularly because I worked in a sales role.
Yeah.
Like that should be the main motivator, right? Like, don't you want all of this? And like, I don't know, like maybe there's something wrong with me or this isn't a good fit. But the more I realized how, my vocation and vocation, coming from Latin vocare to call, like the job that I was actually doing was fulfilling God's good work and purposes in life,
right? For
actually serving others was far more immensely motivating for me than that paycheck.
And it's supposed to be.
And it doesn't make earning an income or earning a living bad. Like we need to earn that, because we need to live, we need to provide for our families. Like God's called us to that as well. So it doesn't make it bad. It's just, it was unleashing for me, realizing that money was just not going to be the most powerful motivator for me.
Well, before we get into your first of 5 principles, right, that we want to talk about.
I just realized I sounded super.
No, you didn't.
Like,
why?
Like I don't care about the money.
No, you did because you're being honest. Like, listen, if you were being fake, we would talk about that. That would be a fun another 20 minutes.
Also, I don't know. Are we allowed to say?
Yeah.
Say the word. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Now, listen, Jimmy. What are you drinking? What's in that?
Water.
Okay, because what Jimmy does is he takes his.
Why do you care so much about what I do?
Okay, he has a tumbler.
Yeah.
You take it and you shake it.
No, I just
you shake it. No, you completely. I was watching.
Why do you make fun of
shake
my
it
tics?
like it's a mix, like it's some sort of like creatine powder in there, and then I was like, why are you shaking it if it's just water?
Why
did you shake your milk when you were in high school?
Yeah.
Or you didn't need this milk. You don't shake it. It's not. It's not a concentrate.
So what? Whatever.
Okay, whatever. We'll say
Why do you got it?
Because I'm trying to figure out what's in there that you're.
Where's
shaking.
the SD card, Joe?
It's right there.
Okay,
right
good.
where,
Yeah,
right where you put it.
Where it was left.
Surreptitiously.
Right where it was left.
All right, David.
Oh my goodness.
Give us. Now, these are not the top 5,
Look
right?
what he does. Why can't you just let me enjoy my water?
You enjoy it wrong. I'm just curious. All right, these are not the top 5, just 5 of the more important ones, right? What's number 1 for you?
So number 1 that I would say is define and remove ambiguity for your individual. In you would say we'll even go on to kind of talk about individual roles, or even doing a role map for each individual. So one of the things I talked about, presented a talk on kind of work and productivity in Leadership Lab, and one of the phenomenons that I think has happened in the 20th century, the 21st century, has been the rise of, if I can get all economical, for here, is the, as an industrial economy wanes, work itself has changed. Like work today does not look like what it did 100 years ago, even 20 years ago, or even 10 years ago. And the rise of what authors and sociologists and much smarter people than me would say knowledge work versus industrial work, where knowledge work is sticky. In an industrial economy, you say my grandfather was a farmer, Central Illinois, dropped out of school, I think like 6th or 8th grade, somewhere in there. Was the man of the house at 12 because his father left, for like 4 years. So like he's the man of the house, and he was a farmer for his entire life. In that work, I mean, there's knowledge that gets included in that, but it's very easy to, you see what the next task has to be. It's like, I need to fix the tractor. I need to plant the seed. I need to reap or to harvest. Like it's very, what the next task is very apparent. If you're a painter, where the next brush stroke needs to go. It's very laid out. For knowledge work, which I have a definition here for, but pretty much knowledge work involves communicating, leading. It's murky, it's ambiguous. If you get 100 emails a day, how do you focus? What's the most important thing that you need to do? It's utterly ambiguous, and that's half the task, is defining your work itself. So if you're managing a factory, getting 100 emails a day, what's the thing that I need to focus on today, or what's my important task? Or if you're you're a pastor, you're working in ministry, and you're getting all of these text messages and the constant, we'll talk about that theme later, but defining what are the actual things I need to be focusing on, because you graduate from seminary, plant a church, you're in the pastorate, show up on Monday, first day for work. All right, now what do I do?
Yeah.
We
find that
you're defining the work for yourself.
In most, I don't know for most, but when I talk to my friends in their careers, and especially those in ministry, because I know more people probably vocationally in that area, there's like, I don't know, like a Jimmy's work, there's 1,000 things that have to get done. Right? Yep. So is that what you mean? Like there's 1,000 things that have to get done. I can't do all 1,000 right now. So
nothing's going to say there's going to be urgent tasks, but the urgent task and the important tasks are not going to self-identify themselves. No, like what's important and what's urgent are often not the same things.
Well, and it's not, and who defines that?
Exactly.
Right? Like when you send me an email and you mark it urgent, please read, I ain't reading it. The moment someone sends it high priority is the automatic moment it goes down to the
24-hour wait time.
It goes to 48 for me.
Ooh,
that's a lot of email.
I'm going to mark every email now. Can I do that on Google?
Yeah,
is that a thing?
Please read. Yeah. Please read and respond. I'm like, nah. I was going to read and not respond, or I was going to respond and not read. Now you're telling me to do both, and in what order?
Then you get the follow-up email, like, did you read this, with like 3 or 4 question marks?
Yeah. So here's the thing. Good one. Here's the thing is, like, when you're talking about that, that's what's really important, is figuring out for you, what is the priority? Like, what is the task that I have to get done?
Yep.
I am one of these guys that I don't allow others to define that priority for me. It's not going to happen, because in the same way I've always been taught, I'm not going to allow anyone to run my business. I run my business. And so I run my priorities. No one else gets to run that for me.
But
Nobody.
but that's true for you. But wouldn't it also be true that for some people, like they have to have given priorities, right? Like you tell some people these are your priorities.
Yep.
Yeah, you get to tell them. They also, though, this is where the knowledge-based part comes in, right? Is especially at a larger corporation, not necessarily like mine, but I'm talking about when as you get bigger, right? You have people in that position that don't actually know what you should be doing. And so you have to take that information, and now you have to be a bit more skilled. You have to take that information and weigh it and then make the decision based upon your job description and role, like you were talking about, the ambiguity of making or not allowing the ambiguity of your job position so that you can accomplish the task that you really need to accomplish. So sometimes I'll get information from higher ups at different companies that'll say, hey, I need this. Well, I first then go to their planner. I then go to their planner and say, hold on, look at the forecast, because they want this product, but I know that product is probably not needed until August. But someone up the chain is saying, I really want this product.
So no matter what your position is, you're still going to have to do this sort of ambiguity triage, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have to be able to
That's it.
sort it out.
There's corporate, like a function of leadership. All the best business literature, productivity literature, you're going to say like there's a function of leadership is to provide clarity and definition. The leader is the one who's setting for like, this is where we're going. This is how soon we're going to get there. That's also an element of personal effectiveness too. Like that, it's a personal autonomy. For me, it's like, all right, David, close this many units in a month, and they're not going to tell me how to do it. That's knowledge work.
Yeah. What you have to do at that point. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's me to type, what's the most important thing that I need to do today to get to the end goal and structure my time in such a way, while also not neglecting that's one of the spheres that are in my role map. If I have 5, I have a role map that I have in an Excel sheet. It's actually Google Sheets that I have. And the 5 areas that I have, I have an individual role. Think spirituality, character, spiritual health, physical health, anything on the personal level, family, church, social. So think neighborhood, world, city, state. My obligations as a citizen, and professional. So my work life is just one facet of that. But to live a holistic, integrated life, like the Lord cares about all 5 of those facets.
Sure. Yeah.
And I have to, I can't be neglectful of really any of them, or else one of them's going to, be springing for my attention. If I'm neglectful of my family, like they're going to be the first or the last maybe to they're going to suffer the most, but they're going to be the last one to say like, hey, we really need some time.
Really?
Like, yes.
Allison's going to she's going to, hey,
yeah,
I need some time here.
Yep.
She'd be slow to do it. She just kind of gives you space to.
My wife can come on this podcast and give a wonderful talk on patience and long suffering for dealing.
So on this idea though of defining ambiguity, can you so we have all these listeners, right? Millions of listeners
doing all sorts of things in ministry.
So what
working 9 to 5s?
Like, is there like a basic approach how to defining ambiguity where they're at?
Yeah, I would say first. This first point really comes from, it's the second section of the book, What's Best Next by Matt Perman, where the first section really is giving this gospel-centered foundation, this God-centered vision for why, as Christians, we need to think deeply about productivity. It's not just some, for the secular nerds, who just want to make more widgets and make more money. Like God cares how effective we are in the individual callings with which he gives us. So the second is defining, like giving that definition. So he goes often to creating a personal vision statement or mission statement. Sometimes like that's kind of weird. Like why is it? But no, like there's the Lord gives mission statements in the Bible. It's the Great Commission is a mission statement to the church. That is what the church is the mission that the church has been given to do. And one of the things that I talked about in my talk is how effective the church is in accomplishing that mission. Like that's. The Lord cares about that. For us to be haphazard in accomplishing, that purpose is.
So it sounds like you're saying, because I'm trying to, in my own brain, like boil this down, distill it. So to define ambiguity, then you would need to have a really clear vision for what your primary goal is, and then what the supportive steps to achieve that goal
Yes.
are. You just need to like pencil, paper, start writing this stuff out. That's usually helpful.
Working
right?
through it, prayer, journaling, taking note of like, what are the things that I actually care about? Like what, like, there's things that we give, there's like family, church life, like the things we've been naturally given, but also like for other passions, Matt Perman talks a lot at length about using William Wilberforce's life in Mission and Calling. Like I believe it was Wilberforce who wrote himself, like, the Lord's laid upon me two things: the reformation of morals and the ending of the slave trade. And he dedicated his entire life to doing that in the British Empire, and he did. He was one of the most probably productive Christians of all time.
Sure.
He goes at length about that. So prayer, journaling, taking note of, perhaps a special calling, but also recognizing in scripture, like, no, these are the things that the Lord has directly told us in his word, for the things to do, we're called to be people who are zealous for good works, as Titus would say. And the Lord cares about that.
So you got to do this in every sphere.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, taking a role map, I just laid it out, like, here's a role map. Here are the individual responsibilities, spirituality, character, health, family, wife, if you have kids, taking care of your kids, finances, if that's your job kind of within the role, for that church, what are your obligations within church ministry, community group, discipleship group. If you're, church would probably be, if you're in ministry, be tied with your professional vocation.
Sure.
And then social, your neighbors, your social groups, your involvement in your city, state, government, nation, all that stuff. So, and creating a holistic view for that. But if you wanted to dive deeply into that, I couldn't recommend the book What's Best Next, which, by the way, this is not a sponsored podcast. This is not a
no, but our affiliate links that you use to buy that book will support Doctrine and Devotion. Well,
So what's, oh, go ahead. I was going to say, number 2.
Ooh, number 2. And Joe had a wonderful lead in into that, actually, for my second point. My second point is develop a compelling vision. And if you guys wouldn't mind, I'd like to tell a story about a time for my own compelling vision. For the time, can I share a story?
Yeah, I would love to hear the story.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
Keep it under 20 minutes.
Okay, yeah. Oh gosh, just cut out your bantering and get all that time back. But anyway,
it's gold, Jerry. It's gold.
So for developing a compelling vision, one of the vocations that I've had, or one of the jobs that I've had, directly out of college, I worked in Christian college ministry for Cru. Campus Crusade for Christ, if you're old school, Cru, if you're new school, doing evangelism and discipleship on college campuses and teaching things like the 4 spiritual laws, which we all know that Jimmy loves. I actually came to faith because someone shared the 4 spiritual laws with me.
Actually, you came to faith because God chose you before the foundations of the earth to hear and respond to the gospel by the work of the Holy Spirit through the ministry of the word, in spite of the 4 spiritual flaws. But go ahead.
Boom.
I'm just joking, man. Praise God for how he used Bill Bright. Seriously.
Yeah. Faithful man, incredibly effective, not a super great theologian. And I feel like that's okay, but incredibly effective at the mission and vision that God felt.
Same with D.L. Moody, same with a lot of people, yeah.
We got so sidetracked. Anyway, so first job that I had was joining, I felt called to ministry, so was working as an intern. And first task that you're given going into that type of ministry is raising financial support, which we've had missionaries, come here in Redeemer through the SBC, others who have done things such as Young Life, go off into various places throughout Illinois. And that was my first call. And I was a terrible support raiser. I was so bad at it. Just the mechanics of it. It was, so that first summer, I got to the end of like the last 2 weeks of the summer before I was supposed to be at 100% support. I had terrible appointments, like the kind where you show up as a retired minister and going over the vision statement, and ministers like, oh, you're probably one of those conservative Christians who believes in things like the Trinity, like that's
the definition of conservative.
Yes.
Whoa.
That was just the word, and just really dark time, spiritual time, trying to do my best to walk with the Lord. It's like, Lord, I feel like you've called me to this, and 2 weeks are left and I have at 40% support, so I'm like 60% left with only 2 weeks to go, and I've been at this all summer. So I show up to an appointment with a financial advisor who is a Christian in town in Bloomington Normal, and I'd never met the guy before. He was a referral from someone who my family knew, and like, you need to go talk to this guy. So I walk into his conference room, I put on my nice clothes, sit down at this conference table, and the first question the guy asked me is like, so why are you doing this instead of going out and getting a real job? And at this point, it had to be the Holy Spirit speaking through me because I was so burned out. I was so like angry with the Lord for the experience that I was having. But what came out of my mouth at that time was, and again, purely the Holy Spirit. I said to the man, sir, if there was anything else I wanted to be doing with my life right now, I would be out doing that thing instead of sitting at your table right now, talking about support raising, giving you like the ministry that we're going to do.
Yeah.
The end of that conversation, he came on my team for $200 a month.
Wow.
Just utterly the Lord's work because I was burned out. That was not my work.
Yeah.
At that point. And one of the things that I learned, if you're out raising support right now, man, be in the word, be in prayer. The Lord is with you. It's tough, but it's a good ministry. People give to people who are justified by their calling and their cause.
Yeah, no one wants to be supporting a undisciplined, unorganized minister. I mean, in all seriousness, I don't know how many times I've, met with individuals that wanted to raise support and they have no idea what it is that they want to do and they don't know how to go about it. And I'm like, well, I don't actually believe in your vision. Like you don't even have a vision. You don't even have a course. If you're not invested in this to put the plan together, why am I going to invest financially?
Yeah.
And why would anybody else invest financially?
Because I've never had to fundraise because the Lord always gives me exactly what I need when I need it.
Yeah. You name it and claim it.
Blab
it and grab it.
But I've worked with a lot of people who are raising support, church planters in particular, and you can spot the ones that are really going to struggle sometimes because they're almost apologetic about having to raise support. Like when they go, they don't have this vision, this compelling vision. Instead, they're just like, I kind of want to, would you maybe kind of...
not really going for the ask, or they're not convinced. Like they believe, but they're not convinced of the vision. That the Lord is calling. Going back to Bill Bright. If we even talk about Bill Bright, I've been off staff for 5 years, 6 years now, and I could still like the mission and vision of Crew is that believers everywhere. Okay, so everyone knows someone who truly follows Jesus. Like I have that vision statement, that mission statement burned into my brain because that's the vision. Everyone would know someone who truly follows Jesus. And it's for all its faults, every ministry has its faults. Whatever. It's not the point. Like it's been a ministry that's been incredibly effective at accomplishing that vision that the Lord is called to. So like if you're people give to people who are justified by their cause and their calling, and like what's more than. If you are raising support, what you're really doing is you're inviting people to participate in what the Lord is doing across the world, whether it's you're a church planter in India, Japan, or church planting here in the suburbs of Chicago. Like that's what you're really asking people to do.
So I mean, we're not doing a podcast on support raising, but we are doing a podcast. So how then does that vision affect your productivity, right?
So having a vision, having that powerful vision, if you are stuck. If you're like, I just can't go on. Like you're lacking that discipline. Like sometimes it's just, you just need to recultivate that vision. Something that vision gives you, like it gives you direction. It tells you where you're going. It can give you power and passion and motivation to keep going because it's something that brings you outside of yourself. You're not looking towards yourself. You're looking towards something greater outside of yourself. This isn't not necessarily a Christian book, but Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. Like, also like vision, like those who survived the concentration camps with Nazi Germany or the ones who had a greater calling and vision to survive and to go on. And those were the ones who did. They weren't necessarily the healthiest or the ones who were most physically strong. Yeah. It was that greater vision to themselves. It gives you focus. It tells you what things matter. That's half knowledge, what things matter and what things don't.
So then if you don't have a vision, then you don't know how to do step one.
Yes.
You don't know how to prioritize if you don't have the vision in place. Yep. Otherwise, then if you don't have a vision, everything becomes a priority. And that means nothing is a priority at all.
Exactly. And vision provides unity. Yeah. If it's High River Redeemer Fellowship, we exist in St. Charles. We gather together.
First of all, I hate that whole thing. I hate churches' mission statements that start with "we exist." It's so static.
This is the thing, Jimmy.
I hate
Jimmy
it.
will do 10 minutes on this.
I'll do 10 minutes on this. If your church has a mission statement that says "we exist," change it. Just change it. It's so static.
But I think so it's like what you guys are saying.
I'm here.
We exist to believe, to belong, and to become.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so which is not a bad one. People
Get rid of the we exist.
So that's how do you say it?
Hold on, give me a second.
Yeah, say.
Give me a moment.
Right.
You want something a bit more active, right? What, say we exist to what?
To believe, belong, and become.
Believe, belong, become.
So what's the Redeemer mission statement?
Hold on.
To make disciples as disciples.
See, but here to make, right? It's not that we exist.
You almost said it.
Huh?
Yeah. So how do you tell people what the mission statement is or the vision is?
What do you mean? For the believe, belong, become?
For anything, yeah. You can't say we exist. So what would you say? What would you replace that with?
I don't. Okay. I would want something a bit more like, we're passionately proclaiming, right? Like, or we're. So you got. This is where you got to take time. You're putting me on the spot there.
Yeah.
I'm saying we exist sucks.
It's easy to hate, but it's not easy to create.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah.
But that hate is justified. That's a justified.
I think what you're saying is maybe like to put a different spin on it would be like our purpose is to, because existence is a given. So to say our purpose is
to believe, belong, become.
So this vision thing helps you first, so that then when you share it with others, they're able to get behind it, be a part of it.
Exactly. Providing that unity.
Yeah. I love that. All right.
Getting on board.
Number 3.
Here we go. Now we're just going to get into the really, really practical. First 2 were kind of vision oriented, greater vision oriented. Next 3 are going to be more practical. Mm-hmm. Number 3 is block out your time, which I actually have a direct quote.
Oh,
I can
from
share.
William Carey?
No, this is actually from Matt Perman and about the nature of time. So blocking out your time, actually taking the time to block out your time. Jimmy, I know you like to organize your time in blocks, your day in thirds. There are other ways of doing it. There's journals that you can buy. One of them is from Cal Newport to push his book. But blocking out your time, hour by hour, whatever increment you do, it shifts your perspective from managing your tasks to managing your time. Mm-hmm. And the quote that I have is actually from Matt Perman in Unstuck. It's like, you cannot get more time. You cannot rent more of it, hire more of it, or in any other way obtain more of it. Time is the scarcest resource. And in the section before, like that particular quote, it's like, what is your scarcest resource? Is it time, money, or people? And like, well, those 3, like, you can get more money and you can find more people. Like, it's not that those aren't scarce resources sometimes, but time, like, nope, there is no way to get more time at all. Mm-hmm. So in terms of shifting your perspective from managing your time versus managing your tasks are endless. There will always be more tasks. There's always more things to do. Yep. So start with your scarcest resource, which is your time. There's only 24 hours in the day. How are you going to manage that? Blocking out time so you know exactly what you're going to be doing. And there's, you can get super almost militant about it, scheduling down to the minute, or you can just work off of habits. If you take a look at supposedly, maybe it's a myth. Matt Perman wrote it in his book, so whatever.
Oh, it's another myth.
Oh my gosh, yeah. But the way that George Washington structured his post-presidential life was just by routine.
If you want to follow a racist, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Cancel George Washington.
Maybe.
My goodness. Hey, so David,
I don't even have a comeback for that. That's
You better not.
No.
David, when did you buy a boat?
When did I buy a boat?
Yeah.
You obviously are a boat owner.
Obviously, with your boat shoes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I knew where you were going right away.
Actually, me and Jeff Bezos we're getting complimentary yachts together. His $50 million. I got a little bit more upgrades to go for the 60. I actually have 2. I have 2 support yachts for my yacht. Jeff Bezos only has 1.
You've got 2.
Yeah. So to have 2 helicopters, because the first yacht was couldn't have a helipad.
That's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll share a picture of his
took a
boat
photo
shoes.
of it.
No socks.
So, no show socks?
No socks.
Oh, no socks?
No socks at all.
He's really boat shoeing it.
Yeah.
Boat shooting. All right.
It's hot outside.
All right. So managing your time.
Yes.
Right. And I think that's really important because, I see a lot of people who don't manage their time and they don't know what to do with it. And, they'll just default to watching shows or or playing games or
Get
whatever.
distracted
They get
or whatever.
distracted really easy, and they don't know what to do.
And then it's 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the day, and like, what did I do today?
What did I actually accomplish?
Yeah.
Right? And so, along with, I think, scheduling time, and well, I don't want to. I hope I'm not jumping into something else that you have there, but you want to protect that time, right? You want to protect that time, especially, I would say, as it pertains to your family time, right?
Yep.
So you got your work time, you got that stuff. But so, as you said, if you don't get your work done, you have to get it done at some point, and that means taking time away from the family.
Yep.
So part of it for the, understanding your vision and your mission, and knowing your priority of your family, that should compel you to make sure you're efficiently working during the day, so that you're not taking time away at night with your family.
Yeah, and time blocking it's an ongoing process even through the day. Like, you realize, like, all right, I've blocked out an hour for this time. It only took me 30 minutes. All right, well, I can revise my time block here. Or if you realize that, this is going to take me a little bit more longer, you can revise. It's so you can be unleashed to accomplish the things that you want to do rather than, reacting. You can be proactive in your time. It's so you get to do the things that you want to do, which is much like I rather than doing the things I do not want to do.
Yeah.
It's like, I do the things that I do not want to do. Like, why do I do these things? It's so you are released and you are free to do the things that you're actively called and you want to do, and give you joy. Like, you should enjoy your toil and your work and the things that you're doing.
This is why I like hanging out with guys like you, because this can sound almost like an insult.
Legalistic.
No. What I'm about to say can sound like an insult when I say it comes easier to some people. That can sound like an insult, as if like, well, you guys don't have to try, and that's not what I mean.
No.
You guys have figured it out to a certain degree, and you're good at it, and I'm not. And so I like hanging out with guys like you because you value time management, you value that kind of structure, and you produce fruit from it. And since I struggle in that area, it's good for me to see guys who exemplify it, don't just talk it and tell me you need to do better. You guys actually show me how to do it. And one of the things that I keep learning over the years, it takes me a long time, I'm a slow learner, is that I got to stay on top of it. Like the whole idea of blocking out time, I can block out my time, and I'm a master at blocking out my time. I can block out all my time.
You're a master of blocking people out.
Yeah, I do that too. I can block out all my time all day and do the whole thing, but then fall off of actually keeping it. Like, so like I can put it on paper, or I can see what it should look like. So I have to always sort of evaluate, or like Jimmy will say, hey, how's it going with that? Like, I know you started off good. Like, are you, he won't ask it this way, but what he's asking is, have you started to fall off now? Because that's what happens. You start to fall off and you need to get back on
because what's
it.
really easy, especially in ministry, I think, is because it's people based.
Yeah.
It's easy then to justify, well, I can go ahead and give up this time because it's an emergency.
Right.
And everything becomes an emergency. And so the moment you start allowing others to dictate your schedule's off the rails.
Yeah.
Now, some things are actual emergencies.
Sure.
Yeah.
We
The problem is the individual always thinks they're an emergency.
It's always, yes.
Especially in ministry. Every individual thinks, not every, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, it's common.
It's common that individuals think, oh, I have to be now, Pastor.
Yeah, because their problem is their problem. It's their pressing issue. They don't realize that you might be juggling 15 other problems.
It's like, well, hold on.
Time.
I can appreciate the severity of this. Is anyone dead? Are you about to, is the marriage about to blow up? Like, is there someone in danger? Well, let's schedule for Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's always, you can sense when people are disappointed, but they understand, like, oh, yeah, I guess, I can wait till next week.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned, Joe, that you feel like you're not naturally gifted at that, so talking about it. If I could share another quote from a really old book that's not a Christian book, but back in 1967, an author named Peter Drucker wrote a book called The Effective Executive, which is maybe the worst sounding.
Sounds boring.
Yeah, it sounds boring.
Not reading that.
But Peter Drucker was a super influential business consultant, and he writes in that book that, over the course of his entire 50 years of business consulting, he never found one super successful individuals. He never found one naturally effective person. It was something that, it was a skill that had to be learned and
developed,
and grown, and it's something that doesn't naturally happen. It's something that I wish I had learned in school.
Yeah, they should be here. Be a good skill.
Yeah. Next time I come on the podcast, if I'm ever invited back,
we'll find out.
After, we'll see. We're not over yet. We can talk about the value.
It was over before it started. But
yeah,
it's fine.
The value of a liberal arts education from a state university.
Mm.
No, and that no one wants to hear that.
Number 4.
It's It's funny that you mentioned, Jimmy, moving in. Talking about moving into time blocking. Number 4, and this is going to ruffle some feathers. It's going to ruffle Joe's feathers.
Yeah, I know.
Which I like ruffling Joe's
Here
feathers.
it comes. I've been waiting for this moment, Joe. I've been waiting for this moment.
If anybody's wearing a fedora,
Here we go.
or
Here we
it's
go.
you with a
feather.
feather.
Here we go. Here we go.
Number 4.
Number 4.
Quit social media.
Boom. Joey, you're horrible.
Quit it.
Quit it.
Stop it.
Stop now.
Repent.
Okay.
Joey, enough.
No, it's not.
Yeah, look for that drop, Jimmy. I see you looking for a drop.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You just stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not, obviously it's not sinful to engage in social media. Some of you are sinning by engaging in social media. Sometimes I do, that I need to repent of. But the more, and this goes into Cal Newport's deep work. He talks extensively about this, and then decided to write an entire other book called Digital Minimalism that I cannot wait to read. But our cell phones are not. Our computers, our email inboxes, they're not neutral things. They will always, they're designed by themselves to get your attention so that you're always checking them, so that you're constantly put in a place of distraction rather than a place of focus.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best things, one of the best statistics.
Preach it.
I mentioned before, like reading the book, like the bullet journal method. Ryder Carroll, the author of that book, he brings in a lot of Eastern philosophy with that. I actually wrote down in my bullet journal all of the little points, and then the Christian, like, okay, this is how we find gratitude in the Christian faith. Like this is how it's one of the tenets of it. But he mentions the statistic. There was a study done in 2016 that, like, in managing and observing productivity from 1950 to 2005. Americans' productivity increased about 1 to 4% year over year. So Americans were 1 to 4% more productive from every year from 1950 to 2005. That began to slow dramatically on
Thanks, Obama.
2005. You mean W?
The world saw what was coming.
Yeah, it was. So starting 2005, it decreased, and actually productivity decreased in 2016. And what was the thing that began to exhibit mass prevalence starting in 2000, like right around that time?
Trump.
The Apprentice. Yeah, The Apprentice. It was that was the downfall.
He was the president in 2016.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. I thought you were talking about 2005. I was thinking, starting with The Apprentice. That was the downfall of Western civilization. We've just lost half your listeners for.
You're fired, David.
Yeah, this truly was the podcast historian.
So what happened in 2016? You said in 2016. What happened in 2016?
I think technology and how our smartphones are changing us is just taking more effect, greater effect. I can still remember a time pre-smartphone.
Oh yeah.
How many, people coming into our churches and Christians, new believers today, like can't remember a time when iPhones didn't exist.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Or young believers, high school ministries, youth group ministries. It won't be known for years how much the effect that access to information, constant access to information, has changed our brain chemistry, our psyche, and have ceased to be tools that we use and are now the things that are using us.
Yeah. That's one of the things I try to tell Joe, right? Is like, this cell phone is there, like it's here for my convenience.
Yeah.
Not for their, like, everybody else's convenience to get a hold of me. Right. Like, cause you're talking, like, what you're talking about is like that slave to the notification. And I think that's the part that is a struggle for a lot of people, right? That's what you're really getting to is they get that, they hear that, and they want, like, they feel that utter need to respond to it, or to at least view it.
Yeah. So Cal Newport's equation for deep work. So we talk about deep work. He goes into it. You can read an entire book on it, or read the summarization in Matt Perman's Unstuck. But the equation for deep work is high quality work. High quality work equals time spent. Roll that back. We're just going to edit this out.
No, we don't do that.
Oh, goodness. So high quality work equals time spent times intensity of focus.
Got it.
So for me, I do mortgages for a living. I do loans. So it's a lot of information coming in right here, trying to think deeply about how to solve people's their financial problems who are trying to not be homeless, right? So that requires, for some, a lot of cases, like deep, intense focus. And that focus gets broken if I'm constantly like, what's going on Facebook? Let's check my email. So for me, it's how do I process important information more effectively so I can be better at my job to accomplish more and help more people?
You're saying that one of the main things that you should do then to do that is to lay off social media. That's the point. Because you said quit social media, people are going to hear that go, well, I can't quit social media. And you're not saying you can't have a Twitter. You're saying,
I use social media for my work and my job. So like, if I didn't have to, I don't technically have to. It's advisable. It's becoming ever present. But how do you have a relationship with social media where it becomes the thing that you are using rather than the thing that's
it serves you, right? Like Jimmy was saying,
Well, and I think it's not just social media though. Like it's everything.
It's your text messages. It's your emails.
Joe gets mad at me. So here's what I do.
I don't get mad.
You do.
You do not. Stop saying that. I don't get mad.
Bro.
Yeah.
I might go look at some text messages and find.
Oh no! I challenge you.
Maybe not. Okay, challenge. Okay, maybe not mad. Maybe a challenge. Hold on.
No, I'm challenging you to find it because I definitely have never been mad because you're slow to respond to a text message.
So that's just it. So I use Do Not Disturb all the time, right? If I'm in a meeting, if I'm at work, if I block out administrative time or anything else, I'm on Do Not Disturb, and I don't care. There's only Michelle's messages can come through, but nobody else. Everybody else, it just doesn't go through because I'm not one of these guys that all of a sudden I get a ding like during work hours and I feel like I have to respond. You know, like that's one of the things I think it concerns me about some, with people, because like I see people, they automatically feel this rush that I have to go see what's going on.
Yeah.
I have to go find out what that email is or what that text message is or what that phone call is.
Yeah.
When I don't think that's necessary. Right? Like personally, I don't feel like I have to go find out. And I don't feel like I have to respond within 5 minutes or 10 minutes, or unfortunately for Joe has learned 6 hours. Like
the only time, for the record, the only time like
you found the text message thread, didn't you? Because you're looking. I'm looking.
No, the only thing is like, okay, so you had a family crisis recently. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Everybody's fine. Yeah. Relatively.
Yeah.
But so I was like, hey man, what's going on? Is this gonna work? And then you don't respond. And then like I follow up like, hey, you're like, I just want to make sure, like, I'm not trying to put any pressure on you. So I'll follow up. Like, I'm never mad, but I'm just like, oh, he's not responding. It's like, it's 8:00 at night. Like, I don't think he's sleeping, but maybe he is. I just don't know. If I know you're on Do Not Disturb, I don't care. Or if I like, but I was just like, I've never been mad at you.
No, I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it.
I challenge you. You're gonna find it. Anyways, listen, we're going long. All right. So limit, control your social media and smartphones. Don't let them control you.
You have a finite amount of willpower and attention that does diminish and deplete.
So write that one down, Joe.
Yes.
Yeah.
That one's definitely for you.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Please.
Yep.
What?
Please.
Dude, you respond to messages on Fridays.
Yeah.
It's your day off.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, to my friends. To my different friends.
Work stuff. I'm talking about church stuff.
I know. I got a lot of room to grow.
Listen, I have been in the car with Joe while he's
for
driving.
You, it's really difficult for you because for your work and work
see
and
how
friendship.
Sympathetic he is and how much of a jerk you are.
I struggled with this.
Jerk,
I struggled with this in ministry when I was involved in ministry because all of my friends were like college students still. Like I was graduated, but a lot of my friends were still like. So if I'm hanging out with them, is it work or is it social time? And that lacking an integrated view of like what truly is my work and what is having an integrated view of that. I struggled with that, which I imagine would be a very similar pressure for you, Joe. It's like we're friends, but also you're my pastor.
To be fair to what Jimmy is saying, like when I was going to the gym, early in the morning, like I go early and that way I'm not disturbed, but I have my phone up, I'm listening to the thing, and then I'll get a notification about a church related issue. I can't focus. I can't work. It just it wrecks me, which is a weakness inside of me.
But that's a natural thing. I think that's why I do the Do Not Disturb thing.
I need to
won't
put it on.
allow the notification to come up, so I don't face that.
Yeah, I got to put it on, and I have to have a true Do Not Disturb because my Do Not Disturb is only 15 people can get through. I need to make it one. It's my wife. 15. All right, so quit social media, and then your fifth one.
Final one.
Last, learn how to do nothing. What? I thought this was about productivity and doing things.
This is about doing nothing now.
It's about doing nothing. Like learn how to do nothing.
Okay. It's like a Seinfeld principle.
Yeah. So I think this was one of the best sections for the book Deep Work. And again, read the book if you want to get more into it. But one of the sections is titled just embrace boredom. That by embracing boredom and resisting the want to not be distracted, oftentimes like, all right, there's nothing going on, so I'm going to entertain myself just through, YouTube or thing. And for this principle, it was after I read the book, I realized, wow, my phone might entertain me, but it doesn't make me happy. Like it may keep me distracted, like keep me numb, but it doesn't make me happy. And the more that I embrace boredom, like just being bored, being in the grocery store aisle, whip out my phone, check what's going on. Like it's just embracing the boredom of the moment. I'm actually increasing my brain's capacity for attention and focus
and creativity.
Yeah, and creativity. So, and there's two
boredom
things.
teaches kids how to use their imagination. For example, boredom is an aid to
That's a good point, Joe.
Learning and creativity. A lot of people talk about this principle from not even from a work perspective, but from the creative perspective, which like it always rings true to me because people definitely my generation and older, like there were times when there was nothing to do. You couldn't really distract yourself with much.
No.
You could listen to an album, right, or something like that. There's always something, but now you can really drown out everything immediately with high quality produced material, which may be good and maybe helpful in some ways, but it's not going to make you a better person.
Right. So in the midst of creative work or focus work, there's two principles or two concepts that Cal Newport writes at length about that I've been trying to weave into my schedule, into my life. The first is something called attention restoration theory. And really essentially comes down to spending time in nature. Going out, taking a 15-minute walk in the middle of the day, taking time and taking a break, not from distraction, but taking a break from focus. If I'm deeply working on something, if you're a computer programmer, taking a break from the code that you're trying to write, just walking outside for 15 minutes will have great effects in restoring your attention and focus, even just 15 minutes. And you can block that out in your day. Also the concept of thinking like, say you're a pastor and you're working constantly on sermon prep. You're working on your sermon prep, and so you're studying, you're reading, you're working intensely. You think like, all right, I need to get all of this intense work done in 8 hours. It's all I have. The thought and concept behind is something called unconscious thought theory. That even when you are not reading theology books, the things that you're studying, things you're reading, the things you're working on in the Word, those things are processing in the background. You're just utilizing a different form of productivity for how your brain functions. You're still, as you're driving in the car, you're working and you're ruminating. It's a way to almost like meditate on the word and so sometimes as you're working in your sermon prep, and your focus is depleting, taking a walk outside and working on that, you're utilizing a different form of productivity.
I learned when I used to run years ago and long distance, and it was.
You've been getting back into it.
No, I haven't run yet.
I thought you.
No running. Nope. I haven't run since 2012. I've done walks.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
What were you running from in 2012?
The law.
But what I found was like because I would go for like an hour run, and it would. I was out in the middle of nowhere, no headphones. I would never use headphones or anything. And I had great like breakthroughs in sermon development just by being out there doing nothing and using my body in that way. It really paid great dividends. Yeah. That's why my sermons are horrible now because I don't run.
Oh, is that it?
It's one of the reasons.
I've noticed a decline in quality.
Yeah, since 2012. It's just getting worse.
That was a joke.
Was that more towards me declining quality this year now that Jimmy's been up there more?
No. I was speaking directly to Joe at that time.
No, I think that's what he meant. Yeah. I think that's what he meant, Joe.
Yeah, him and his judgmental boat shoes.
Yeah.
Think you're better than me?
All right. So here's what we're going to do. We've got a bunch of recommendations from David for books to read, resources. We're going to link to all of that in the show notes. We'll list out these 5 principles, but David, thanks for coming on, man. This is really helpful for me. You're always a good time.
Oh,
great time.
David likes metal.
I do.
But
I don't look like it though.
But who does?
You do.
Okay, maybe. But if you ever meet David, just ask him one question, any possible question that you could think of, no matter how random, about professional wrestling. Oh yeah. And David will wax eloquent for as long as you allow him. Dates, characters, history. That guy knows wrestling. You know wrestling.
Oh, we don't have time for this.
Next time on the podcast, pro wrestling is more real than real life.
We're never doing that.
We're never doing that. Well, we'd love to hear your thoughts. You can follow us online on Instagram and Twitter at Doc and Diva, or on Facebook /Doctrine and Devotion. You can head to the website, drdevotion.com. There you can contact us. You can sign up for the email blast at the store, jofostore.com, and grab some gear. We got Fresh Pod every Monday and Thursday, blog posts, video content over on the website. We got that all access exclusive content. We've got Banter of Truth on Tuesdays, Weekday Wisdom, Monday through Friday, and David is unbuttoning his shirt. We will talk to you guys later.
It's hot.